The Diocese of the Rio Grande encompasses 154,000 square miles. Within the diocese, the New Mexico-Texas-Mexico borderland stretches for 800 miles. There is no other existing borderland organization that serves this entire area. And there is no other diocese that serves an international border of this size, which is riddled with violence, poverty, hunger, and the disenfranchisement of the poor. Hello, my name is Susan Hutchins. I serve as director of Rio Grande Borderland Ministries, an agency of the Episcopal Diocese of the Rio Grande. It has been my privilege to serve under Bishop Michael Vono, with the churches in the diocese, and along the border to assist those in need on both sides of our international border with Mexico. In recent years, we have all become deeply aware of the issues of poverty and disenfranchisement, especially the lack of medical, educational, housing, and employment opportunities for immigrants as well as for those who are native-born. Through this ministry, we are actively addressing the needs of our brothers and sisters who are underserved in their communities and overlooked by society as a whole. We consider ourselves blessed to be in this place, serving as advocates as we speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves, for the rights of all who are destitute. Not wanting to reinvent the wheel, our Borderland Ministry has established partnerships with other like-minded interfaith organizations to enhance our ability to serve those living within our diocese. We have begun working closely with Las Americas Immigration Advocacy Center. We are also entering into a collegiate relationship with Project Vida, a community outreach program that offers low-income housing, childcare, educational programs, and small business services. When I became involved in Rio Grande Borderland Ministries, the first ministry that we concentrated on was the Palomas Women's Cooperative. This cooperative is designed to insist and empower women to be financially independent and financially sustainable through the creation and sale of fiber arts items. The women generate an income which then improves the quality of their lives and the lives of their families. Each woman makes 100% of the sale of the items that she made. And last year, over $12,000 was earned by the women.
Lo que sí veo, again, I'm talking in Spanish. Look, I do see God's hand in this because there's a lot of people that come with necessities. Chamacas, por favor. With necessities in the way of maybe sadness. They lost dear members of the family, including myself, and we do get support from one another. So I do see God's hand in this, and we do work with the purpose of earning more money and having a better life. This is my feeling.
Nosotros solamente somos mi hijo y yo, ¿verdad? Bueno, tengo a mi hija, pero ella ya no vive con nosotros. Pero mi hijo, nosotros
Dora is saying that she likes working at the co-op because she used to work at this other place for many years. And she has a son that goes to school. Her son is very happy that she is working in the co-op because he knows that when he comes back from school, he's going to find his mother at home and have a warm meal when he gets there. So he knows his mom is home and she's happy because she spends more time with him.
Dealing with hunger on the border was our next priority. More than 65% of the households in Columbus, New Mexico live on an income of less than $25,000 a year. Through a partnership with the Roadrunner Food Bank and through generous contributions, The Columbus Mobile Food Pantry was created for families in need. The cost of the food to each household is free. The cost is paid solely through donations. The mobile food pantry estimates a cost of no more than $3 for 50 pounds of food. This means that for a donation of $36, a family can be fed 50 pounds of food once a month for an entire year. Since April 2013, over 150,000 pounds of food have been distributed to families in need in Columbus.
My name is Ruth Hodiah. I'm Sherry Mako. And the reason I'm here is there's a scripture that says, whatsoever is born of God overcomes the world. And for me, this was born of God. And so the very essence of He is here, and you just do what He says to do. That's about it.
And being a true servant, we're to serve one another as unto the Lord. And I see that here as a community coming together, it doesn't matter what faith, and to share the love of God to each and every person. I believe that's one of the highest benefits anyone could do and share.
I want to share with you true stories about transformation on the border. A volunteer for the Columbus Mobile Food Pantry came to work at the food distribution with his wife. He did not really believe that food should be given out to the poor, but to support his wife, he volunteered. Like many, he may have believed that the poor were responsible for their poverty, or that they should get a job and pay their own way in society. However, his beliefs were transformed when he saw a woman go through the distribution line with 2 broken feet. When the food pantry began, most of the volunteers were non-clients of the distribution. The tables and the chairs were borrowed every month from the Columbus Historical Society, and they were set up by non-client volunteers. The Roadrunner food bank truck came and was unloaded, and the food was distributed by non-client volunteers. Even client registration was handled by non-client volunteers. And then gradually, over time, the transformation happened. Clients began to organize the crowd and register new clients. Clients brought their own tables and chairs to use at the distribution. They began to unload the truck, set the food out on the tables, and then distribute the food to others. Today, almost all of our volunteers are clients. There is ownership, respect, and pride. Serving the least of these on the borderland and seeking to transform unjust structures of society is paradoxical. While working to transform unjust structures, the individual himself is transformed, and the unjust structure begins to crumble. Hunger across the border in Palomas, Mexico was our next priority. The Palomas Feeding Project was developed. 12 families in need were identified. Through financial donations, groceries are purchased in Palomas and then distributed directly to the families in need. This food includes milk, eggs, meat, fresh fruit and vegetables, rice, flour, sugar, and other necessities. Other donations are also included in each distribution, such as clothing, toys for children, blankets, coats, toys, and treats. Paula is my primary contact in Palomas, and she is a very good friend. She serves not only as the leader of the Palomas Women's Cooperative, but she also coordinates the cooperative. She provides the meeting space for all of the meetings, and she guides and mentors the women. She also works with me in Palomas, helping with the feeding project. Together, we regularly shop, pack, and distribute baskets of food directly to 12 families in Palomas.
Estamos muy agradecidos con ella.
She says they are very grateful to her in the way of her helping them and they thank God also because it does help them a lot.
¿Cómo estás?
Muy bien, gracias a usted.
También. Ay, con los nietos a los brazos.
¿Qué tal?
Emergencies happen. In the summer of 2013, Columbus experienced a severe storm and a microburst. Many homes were damaged. Many homes were totally destroyed. Sustainable food and water was our first priority. Within 24 hours, we were delivering food and water to families affected by the storm. Then, next came the rebuild project. Rio Grande Borderland Ministries is one of several agencies providing rebuild assistance to the community. Through financial donations and the work of a volunteer group from St. Andrew's Episcopal Church in Las Cruces, 2 homes have been restored to living conditions better than before the storm. Roofs, ceilings, interiors, porches, and stairs have been repaired and replaced.
Hi, my name's Kathy Morrow. I'm here with my husband Ed. We've been working on rebuild projects with St. Andrew's Church for about 10 years. I had a little difficulty with that because there was no structure here. Everywhere we had gone before, there were already people there with materials, tools, volunteer lists, everything that you would need. All we had to do is show up and do the rebuild work. Columbus was from the ground up, and I had called Deacon Fry and talked to her a little bit, and I said, this is impossible, but if you eat an elephant one bite at a time, you can consume some of the elephant. You might not get it all, but we will help out as many people as we're able to.
My name is Ryan Singh. I'm 18 years old. I'm from St. Andrew's Episcopal Church in Las Cruces, New Mexico. I decided to become part of this trip to basically help for those in need, because as part of Christians, I think it's a right calling to help for people, those in need. And it's a way that we can not only share our talents, but share our talents through woodworking, or whether that might be cleaning or shoveling grass or whatever. And I think this opportunity is definitely a great decision, because I see many valuable things that I learned from this mission, especially from watching each and everyone's different talents. I think it's amazing how God blesses each and every one of us, because we all come together to work as a team, and through working as a team we can achieve more. And if you just look around, you can see so much blessing that God has bestowed on us. Basically from the supplies that He has blessed us with, to the money that we can buy the supplies with, and to the bottom of all the workers that help build this house into a home that can be a lovely home for a family. So it's a great blessing to be part of this trip. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Margarita, and this is my house. There's a lot of people here helping me with my home, and this means a lot to me because I can see God in here with all these people helping and doing it without expecting something back. Is that good?
Many of the congregations in the Episcopal Diocese of the Rio Grande have border ministries. St. Christopher's El Paso is an example. They provide a weekly Saturday soup kitchen and a food pantry.
Hi, I'm Bruce Truesdale, St. Christopher's Church in El Paso, and this is the Saturday morning food pantry and soup kitchen. And I'm cooking chicken noodle and vegetable soup for the soup kitchen this morning. Been doing this now for about 5 years. I like the cooking part of it. I got into it because it needed to be done, and I really enjoy cooking, so I became the head chef here. And I think it's good. It makes me feel better being able to feed some of these folks that don't get a hot meal but maybe once a week.
I am first started coming to Soup Kitchen out of necessity. They had needed more volunteers, and I thought that it would be a good ministry to get into. I had never done it before, but I thought it was one of those things that we really needed to reach out to the community. And so I went ahead and I came in one Saturday, gave it a try, and I loved it. And it's a lot of fun. I've been doing it for about 5-6 years maybe, because I think a lot of them, this is their one social activity of the week. They get a chance to come and be with friends or people, you know, and most of the time they may be alone or not have anyone else to turn to. So a lot of times it turns into a really kind of fun social time. You can see them talking and laughing and enjoying each other's presence. So to me, it feels like God is working here in our place to help people who are in need. And this is a great outreach, and I enjoy it. It's been something that I look forward to every month when I have my turn here at St. Christopher's. So.
Another aspect of border ministry is the Otra Vez thrift store located in Terlingua, Texas. Who would ever think that a thrift store would be an outlet for ministry? The Otra Vez thrift store is exactly that. Terlingua and the surrounding region on the Texas-Mexico border suffer from poverty and from the lack of local resources and stores that provide even the most basic needs for families. Otra Vez helps to fill that need through the efforts and dedication of a group of community volunteers. Otra Vez sells gently used clothing, household items, and toys at very low prices, and grace abounds. For the individual that can't afford to pay, Otra Vez gives the merchandise away free. Expansion is on the horizon for Otra Vez. Through a generous grant from the Episcopal Diocese of the Rio Grande, a second building and a bathroom are being installed.
There is not a Walmart, a Kmart, no marts, and it's just a big help to the community, and we enjoy the people. And I guess that's why we do it. So we collect money through the year, and use backpacks, we repair them, and then Martha's husband usually goes and buys school supplies. We fill the backpacks and then donate them to the school.
That's great.
And no money comes out of the Otra Vez fund. It's all a separate thing that we do.
The ministry in Columbus and Palomas is not only to meet the physical needs of the people, it is also to meet their spiritual needs. We do this by holding a weekly Eucharist service in a home church environment. We lead Bible studies, and we provide pastoral care, including burial services and I am the only full-time resident clergy-type person in Columbus. All the other churches, they're all missions. So somebody comes down, nobody lives there. How sad. You know? Okay.
Not wanting to reinvent the wheel, our Borderland Ministry has established partnerships with other like-minded interfaith organizations in order to enhance our ability to serve those living within our diocese. We have begun working closely with Las Americas Immigrant Advocacy Center, and we are also entering into a collegial relationship with Project Vida, a community outreach program that offers low-income housing, child care, educational programs, and small business services. We had an opportunity to sit down with Katie Hudak, who is the executive director of Las Americas Immigrant Advocacy Center.
When we come out of the period in the 1980s when there were a series of civil wars that were going on in Central America, especially in El Salvador and Guatemala. And what was happening is people were being persecuted by their home governments in those countries and fleeing to the United States seeking safety here. Unfortunately, the United States government did not recognize these people as refugees, and folks were being rounded up and shipped back to their home countries where they were facing persecution, sometimes torture, and sometimes even death at the hands of their home governments. And so what some faith-based and community leaders here in El Paso did was get together and say that it was important that there be a nonprofit legal organization that could represent these people before immigration and represent them in immigration court. So from the beginning, Las Americas has always worked with people who are seeking political asylum in the United States. Currently, the programs that we work with are our Asylum and CAT, or Convention Against Torture program. We also have our Battered Immigrant Women program, which is really a misnomer. We serve both men, women, and their children in that program, but it is a program that assists undocumented immigrants to receive visas if they've been a victim of either a major crime or domestic violence or human trafficking. And we also work with those who are seeking family reunification through visas that might be available through our family immigration program.
We also had an opportunity to sit with the Reverend Bill Schlesinger, who is the Executive Director of Project Vida in El Paso, Texas.
So we came to Central El Paso and we began to talk to neighbors. And we said, where would you like to see this community? What are some of the things that make it difficult to move towards what you want to see? And what could we do to begin to change things? Well, the community said that they would like to see access to health care and safe and affordable housing, and they'd like to see fewer kids in gangs and better education, and they'd like to see economic development. That all these issues were really related with each other. A lot of people with diabetes, people who lived in really poor housing, people who couldn't figure out how to get their business together, kids who were being recruited into gangs, that these problems fed on each other, and that you couldn't just deal with one of them, you had to deal with the fabric of the community. So we've developed integrated behavioral health care program so that people who have diabetes and are also depressed can have a way to get the depression managed so we can get to the diabetes. So that we've built affordable housing programs around the community. We have done a homeless prevention and recovery program so when people are at risk of losing their home or having utilities turned off, there's an alternative to just living in their car. We've developed ways to work with these microenterprises so that the business owner who knows their product or their service can begin to find a way to be supported in learning how to do business, how to become bankable, how to work with their finance institutions and develop their business. And we've done all of that with using community outreach programs that have involved people from the community, that have gotten them trained and gotten them ready and gotten them involved. And for us, that's been a pilot project on the border, not to do what we've done, but to see that you can look at a community and over time build patterns that link people together and give them a way to have a vision and not just be determined by other people's actions and attitudes towards them, and not to fight with the rest of the world, but to partner with it and find ways to move forward. Our understanding of God is not a guy with a white beard that thumps you up the side of the head if you say the wrong thing. But it is an understanding that at the center, life is about forgiveness and compassion and responsibility. And that we see that most clearly as who we are in Jesus as the Christ. That life is not about the person in a white hat who rides in on a horse and shoots the bad guy. But it's about people who care and who take the hit and who keep caring. And that in that we find resurrection. So where we see God in the midst of all of this that's the context of living for all of us. Whether we name it or don't name it, it's the way life is. Thank you.
Our ministry is God's mission to serve those in need in the New Mexico and far western Texas borderlands. We're dedicated to understanding and identifying needs throughout the border and implementing solutions. Food, clothing, blankets, habitat, education, medical, and legal aid are some of the needs that are being addressed. If they are hungry, feed them. If they are thirsty, give them something to drink. Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good.
Greetings, friends. My name is Michael Vono, the Bishop of the Diocese of the Rio Grande and Far West Texas, and I'd like to say a few concluding words to you. First and foremost, I am very happy, along with the Diocese of the Rio Grande, to participate in this project developed by the House of Bishops Theology Committee, a project focused on discipleship and mission in the global economy, an important topic and discussion for our age. Borderlands Ministry in the Diocese of the Rio Grande address the essential, basic, and critical needs of forced economic migrants and political refugees. I firmly believe that the Church of Jesus Christ has a spiritual, moral, and ethical responsibility to both equip and serve the needs of the poor, those who are marginalized, those who are displaced, those who are oppressed. We address the needs, critical needs of families, of children, of young adults, along the borders of Mexico, New Mexico, and Texas. Needs that are very critical these days, as most of you may know. As we have worked in this diocese together, we have come to the awareness that we are called by Jesus Christ, along with other Christians, dioceses, parish churches, to be a compassionate servant community, addressing and embracing the needs of those around us who are suffering. I remember a wonderful quote from the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. He said many years ago, "Our goal is to create a beloved community. And this will require," he said, "a qualitative change in our souls and a quantitative change in our lives." I can say that I have seen in these several years qualitative change in people's souls as both the poor and those who help them work together, addressing the pains, the critical issues that they face, issues of survival. I also have seen the quantitative change in people's lives as they become aware of the presence of God's Holy Spirit, building community, building friendships, building a place in the world where people look at each other as friends. I am very grateful for the work that's being done here. Grateful to the Reverend Kathleen McNellis, canon in our diocese, who has enabled this ministry to grow and to flourish. I am very grateful to Susan Hutchins, a postulant in our diocese, who is studying for the priesthood, and who serves on the border at this present time and will be serving the needs of the poor and enabling people when she's ordained priest. I also want to thank the Board of Trustees who have enabled so much work to be accomplished. I hope this video has inspired you to creatively think about your own geographical location and the demographics which may lend to you addressing how it is the church can assist the needs of those who are poor, displaced, and oppressed, and enable them to build strong ties among themselves and among the whole Church of God. Bless you, and thank you for watching our video.